And welcome back to Do All the Things, everybody. The GDQ Hotfix show, all about 100% speedruns and completionist categories in general, like, all bosses, all items, and of course, all battles we have here tonight with Pokemon TCG. Before I get to it, though, I have a few announcements to read real quickly. I'll tell you all about some events coming up on the channel here. So, of course, about the big one, GDQ 2025 will be live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania from January 5th through the 12th. Registration and hotel booking are now open, so visit gamesarquick.com and check the GDQ 2025 important dates section to learn more. Also, UBF is returning as GDQ's first Black charity event, Back to Black, which will be live February 7th through 9th. Submissions for that are now open through November 5th. Go to submissions.gamesarquick.com for more info on that one. And of course, if you want to check out more hotfix in general, go to gamesarquick.com/hotfix. Check out our season 3 schedule and check out the schedule for an in-depth look at the runs on this week. Get quite a few of them. Very good stuff. And of course, missed out any of our events or shows in general. Check out the VODs on youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. Yeah, that being said, though, I know y'all excited for some Pokemon here. I'm excited for more Game Boy Color games. So take it away, Toronite. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Shasta. Thanks so much for having me here. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is going to be quite the ride. This is Pokemon TCG's All Battles category. It's a new category that was made earlier this year. It's essentially my passion project because I wanted to have Pokemon TCG to have like another completionist type of category beyond the only one that we had prior to that point, which was all cards. And this one is quite an interesting category. But before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty, it wouldn't be a Pokemon TCG appearance on GDQ Hotfix without our resident Pokemon TCG speedrunning commentator extraordinaire, Autumn. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here, Toro. I'm happy to talk about this game even more.
Oh, trust me.
The more I talk about it, the less I have to deal with the RNG playing it.
Don't worry.
That's so valid.
We're gonna have a lot of time to be able to go over the game. As the name implies, it's all battles. Now, it's a little bit more tricky than what it may seem. So, the term all battles does refer to all battles, and you would think to yourself, okay, just beat every single NPC or trainer in the entire game. Yes, but there's a little bit of a twist to that, and we'll kind of get into that in just a second. But first, we gotta name our character, and what better name to name our character for tonight than Hotfix? And look at that, 6 characters, just exactly.
Hey.
All right, so we are ready to go, and I'll give my countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, so the term all battles, when it comes to this particular game, there's 2 rules. In fact, there's essentially 2 extra rules on this. One, you actually just do every single fight in the game as if you doing a any % glitchless run of this. You have to win every single fight, which is a stark contrast to any % glitchless because there are actually 2 fights throughout the run on glitchless where we actually lose on purpose because it's faster to lose those 2 fights on purpose than to trying to win. And story progress is not affected as a result of doing that. Now, that's the first rule, win every fight. The second extra rule is you have to beat every single deck in the game. There's a couple of NPCs that actually necessitate this specific wording of the rule. Not just every NPC, every single deck. And we're gonna encounter those throughout the run. But before we get into the actual run proper, first of all, how do you play Pokemon TCG? Well, at least in 1998, which is when this game first came out, only first 3 sets of this game came out, which is in this particular game, 226 cards. There's actually 2 extra cards that were not programmed properly, and they are in the code, but not available through normal means. So, the way you do it is you assemble a team of Pokemon. You see these little energy cards with different symbols. They correlate to the 7 types of Pokemon up to this point in the game, which are grass, fire, water, psychic, fighting, lightning, and colorless. Colorless is essentially flying and normal types. And a lot of the other categories types that you see throughout this run where you kind of think to yourself, like, well, where's ice type? Where's bug type? What about poisons or ghosts? They've all been consolidated into one of those 7 Pokemon types in the game by that point. So It's a little bit simpler in some regards, but it's a little bit more complex here. But first, we're going to do our one and only trick in the game. So let me see if I can get this right. There we go. Okay, so that was Duel Escape. That is our one and only glitch that we're actually going to perform. We just like performing this glitch in marathon runs because it's fun. So essentially what we do is we do a certain button input combination where if we press certain buttons at the same time at a certain menu, we kind of just overloaded the game's memory. I believe it's the technical term. And we go into the automatic screen where the duel results screen. And in the tutorial, we actually have to, oops. Yes, I do want to pick Bulbasaur, as you kind of see from our little buddy facing the camera throughout this run. In tutorial, you always win. So the dual result screen basically is like, okay, you already went to this screen. That means you win. So you can actually do an entire run just by doing that. We actually have a category for that called any percent no ace. So before we kind of get into that, there is one thing that I want to also show off, a special RNG manipulation called mail manipulation. So basically this game is entirely dictated by frames. And I am going to wait for a certain point in about 4 seconds and see if we can get a free Hitmonchan. And yep, there we go. Perfect.
Hey.
First try.
Good job, Toro.
Yeah, I was very
easy every time.
Yeah.
It's just that easy.
Yeah. Well, it sounds easy, but it's like, all right. Well, here's the problem. I'm running this game on the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch doesn't exactly have a way for me to very easily kind of go time something to my laptop to where depending on where the certain button input. Wait, did I get this? Oh wait, no, hold on. Did I? Oh wait, nope. No, never mind. We did this right. All right, sorry, just a little bit nerdy. Just wanted to make sure I got my double energy. So if we trick that NPC into telling us, oh wait a minute, I don't have a lot of energy cards. Can you spare some free energy, please, Mister? He'll give you free energy cards, 60 total, which is very, very good to have. The two NPCs that we talked just now, Mitch is the fighting club leader, where we have to talk to him in order to be able to challenge his 3 underlings for Den to have the right to be able to challenge Mitch. So it's a bit of a game of cat and mouse to figure out, okay, this trainer, we have to talk to this trainer to be able to challenge this trainer, and then we have to beat that trainer in order to challenge for this trainer. It's a big old mess that requires like a lot of, and I mean a lot of research ahead of time. And the girl that we talked to also triggered a very special run, a very special fight near and dear to this community's hearts called Imakuni. We'll get into Imakuni much later on. So we're about to start our first fight in the game. So this be a good time for Autumn. Take it away, because now this is my time to kind of focus.
Yeah, this game is very difficult to talk about while you're playing it because you have no lag frames. So everything that's happening, the faster you push the buttons, the faster you get through it. But we're going into one of the easier battles here. We kind of front load easy battles that get us packs that give us good cards. Right now we're on Jessica. What we're looking for is if we see more than one Pokemon on the bench, we reset. Or if we see a Doduo come out, we reset because that'll resist us. But she only has 11 basic Pokemon, which is one of the lower ones in the game. We'll see opponents with as many as 20. And there are 2 win conditions that we can have. We can either take all of our prize cards, which in this game will be between 2 and 6, depending on the opponent. There's a Doduo, so we're going to reset. Or if we just knock out all of our opponent's Pokemon on the field, we win without taking all of the prizes. So ideally, we're hoping to find a one-on-one like this against a Rattata here, where we just put 1 energy on, swing for 20, gets doubled for weakness, and there we go. We win in 1 turn. You will see a lot of resetting in this game, as what we'll do is we'll actually reset out of a winnable but slow fight to try to get a better frame that'll get us a faster fight. Some of our more consistent runners will accidentally start resetting and get their timing so consistent that they get the same bad frame multiple times in a row because they're just too good at getting the inputs on hand.
There's a good chance this may happen at one point during the run. There's a good chance. There's a lot of fights in this run. There's close to 50, so we'll see.
How many is that compared to 8% in this game, just for reference?
So this game, I'm trying to remember the map. I believe it's 46 total fights in this game. It's somewhere in that ballpark, whereas an 80% glitchless is like 26, if memory. At 20, I'd say 26, but there's 2 fights where you lose on purpose. So I don't know if you would consider those fights or half fights, however you want to degrade it, but it's basically in the mid-20s. In the mid-20s that you have to win. Ooh, we got a Scyther.
Nice Scyther.
Scyther is a phenomenal card, especially in all battles, which I mean, it's a great card in general, but in this category, it's actually way more useful. So I'm very happy to have this.
Yeah, we have backup strats for the time when we'll be using Scyther later in the run where any percent will use Nidorino. However, in all battles, there are some battles that Nidorino really doesn't hold up as well in because it's a little more frail than Scyther and doesn't have a fighting resist that we'll need. Also, one thing with our deck here is we are only running Hitmonchan right now on the deck as our Pokemon. Now, in the normal card game, you want to build out a bunch of different Pokemon that can do different things, and so that you're not just getting your 2 Pokemon knocked out and you lose the game. But here, we want consistency, and you can start the game anytime you get any basic Pokemon, so we want to make sure we're always getting the good one and not getting the bad one that's slow. So if we only have one different type of Pokemon in our deck, we know we're always getting it.
And also, for anyone that's curious, if they think like, okay, you winning a lot of these fights relatively easily, and you're kind of thinking to yourself, okay, is this how back in the day this game was played? No, absolutely not. In fact, don't ever seriously play Pokemon TCG the way it's being speedran, because believe me, you're gonna have a bad time. I've tried since this game came out on the Switch. I want to say last year, like 14 months ago, the game was ported onto the Switch on Nintendo Switch Online, which is the version that I'm currently playing right now. There's been a resurgence in the way this format, the 1998 format, was played. And believe me when I tell you, the skills do not translate at all. I am actually a pretty bad player of the actual card game. So I can only speedrun this, but I can't actually play this game for beans.
Although for the original format back in the day, as someone who was around when the game first came around, we use a lot of Hitmonchan, Scyther, and Electabuzz in this run, and those were the pillars of the Haymaker deck, which was the early meta favorite. In the recent format, it's more Lickitung that's the most powerful Pokemon in this format, which, go Lickitung. Finally, nice to see you getting a dub here.
Now, I will say, please let there not be a single Lickitung in this run. Lickitung is a massive stall fest. Do I have a...
Also, we do not see the reset button. Jennifer here has a Pikachu deck. She has 3 Pikachus, 3 Surfing Pikachus, and 3 Flying Pikachus. If we see Flying Pikachu, we immediately reset. It resists our fighting, which takes 30 damage off of it, so our 1 energy attack will do 0 to it, and our 3 energy attack will do 10. And that's slow. So if we see that, there are only 12 basics here, so you can usually reset to get a 1-on-1 or a 1-on-2. Although sometimes we just want to go through if the Pikachus are okay and not keep resetting into Flying Pikachu frames. All in all, aside from a Flying Pikachu, we're hitting all of these for weakness, and we just kind of tear through this deck.
Yeah, honestly...
the Lightning Club that we're in is very good for a Hitmonchan deck.
Yeah, the only thing that, again, gotta watch out is, in this instance, with this one fight, Flying Pikachu, with this next fight, it's Zapdos, which is, same problem with Flying Pikachu. But yeah, that was actually pretty decent, all things considered, a pretty decent Jennifer for it being one where we have to beat all 4. Ooh, first.
1-on-1 against Brandon against a Voltorb and going first. That is the exact fight that you script here. Because that's just, you win on turn 1. And when we can win on turn 1, we want to win on turn 1.
And one thing that Autumn actually just brought up about the resistances, weakness and resistances operate a little bit differently here in Pokemon TCG. In the RPGs, it's your standard, rock, paper, scissors format. That's a 3 versus 1. We're gonna reset that and go in second. It's your
especially Geodude. Geodude can flip a lot of coins, and coin flips are slow.
Yeah. It's your typical rock, paper, scissors, all grass beats water, all fire beats grass, all water beats fire. In this game, operates a little bit differently. like I'd said, different types have been consolidated. So sometimes certain Pokemon having a certain weakness that corresponds with the type they were assigned as a result of this consolidation doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So what in the card game does is every single Pokemon has an individual type, regardless of what the type it is. So sometimes we're going to see Pokemon that are weak to, like, for example, like a fighting type like Geodude will be weak to grass, but a fighting type like Hitmonchan is not going to be weak to grass, but it's going to be weak to psychic. So that's one thing that we also have to kind of keep into consideration when it comes to this category, is knowing ahead of time what each Pokemon in this entire game is weak to. So there's 151 Pokemon. You're gonna see that every single one of them has a weakness, and that's primarily why we do this fight. Amanda is.
This is a perfect Amanda setup. I might be jinxing it. I am so sorry, Toro.
It's fine. No, this is fine. This is still fine. Yeah, no, thankfully we draw plus power, which is one of the most powerful cards in this game. This game does, all plus power does is adds an extra 10 damage to your next attack, which you might not think, oh, 10 damage, that doesn't feel a lot. But you're probably thinking about it, looking at it through the lens of a modern Pokemon TCG where Pokemon have 200, 300 HP. And here, 50 HP is considered quite a lot. So, and we got 3 plus powers in a row. This is a great save for Amanda. You're gonna notice this.
So this is also a Water Club battle where we add a Charmander into our deck because she has Scyther that resists our Hitmonchan and doesn't really have anything that we need to do an edit for. So we just throw in some Charmanders real quick. Usually the luck you get when you're running is you'll start a Charmander against all of the water Pokemon, or you'll start a Hitmonchan versus the Scyther. But Toronite got a pretty good setup there with the Scythers coming out against Charmander, and even the Ammonite just not really a threat to us.
Yeah, and Amanda is usually one of the run killers for a top run, because she can typically when you regularly do an 80% glitchless run of this, you typically just go straight up Hitmonchan and just hope that nothing goes wrong with the fight. It's in fact, this fight is so bad that the community, particularly shout outs to Pinecone 606, who's done terrific work on this, is that what she has done is she has essentially dissected that fight frame by frame to figure out, okay, is this what is the exact time in the exact frame that we want to start a fight just to be able to get a winnable one. I lovingly call that the Pinecone frames, is figuring out what exact frame we want to hit for when starting a fight. Which is another form of RNG manipulation that we like to do. The only rule when it comes to that is that you can't do that kind of RNG manipulation with the bosses, because otherwise that'd be a little bit cheap. That'd be a little bit cheap to try to pull off.
Yeah, and we do have a category for manipulating them as well, but it is not quite as popular. Because a lot of the fun of this game really is in reacting to situations you get, rather than just, can you push a button at the right time to a beep to get your automatic win.
So now, every fight that we have done up to this point has been a required fight. Now we are actually going to go into the new stuff. So this next fight that you're about to see, you will never ever see on any percent glitchless. So these fights are, we're gonna now go up against every trainer that belongs to the Rock Club, and very soon we're actually gonna encounter our very first boss. And wait a minute, did I accidentally give Scyther the wrong energy? I might have. No, wow, no. That was just really unlucky that I didn't draw a single grass type card. There we go.
Yeah, there's your grass energy.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got the right cards in there, right? Right? And yeah, no, sometimes it can be quite annoying with the, it can be quite annoying. The luck of the draw being that you draw 7 cards in a 60-card deck with more than half of the cards being grass energy, and you don't draw a single grass card. That's just how it be with this game sometimes.
That's quite unfortunate there.
Yeah.
But, you got this, I believe.
Oh yeah, no. This
Oh, yeah.
has been a decent start. This has actually been a pretty decent start, all things considered.
And one card we really hope to see when we're running Scyther like this is we're hoping to see double colorless energy, which is a card that just gives us 2 energy for an energy attachment instead of 1. And Scyther needs 3 energy to start doing its main attack, Slash, which does 30 and does weakness against a lot of the rock Pokemon here. Unfortunately not getting it, but that is a way to speed things up, so we're hoping to find more of those in our packs when we can. But clutch plus power there to be able to one-shot the Rhyhorn instead of 2-shotting.
Yeah, Matthew is, I would say, one of the harder, not harder, but one of the more annoying fights among the new fights in all battles, just because he has actually technically good practice for the boss of this fight, which is ironically easier and a little bit more predictable than Matthew right now, but it was just kind of unfortunate because Rhyhorn has a move called Leer, which what it does is you flip a coin, and if it lands heads, your opponent cannot attack next turn. However, we do have answers to that. We technically do have, that's a 4 versus 1. I don't like that at all.
No, we never want to see a 4 versus 1.
Never.
Even on the deck with 20 basics in it, we don't want to see a 4 versus 1.
Yeah. Now, if it starts like 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 1, and then eventually goes into 4 versus 1, well, that can't do nothing about that.
Yeah, and a lot of the skill in this game is practicing reset discipline and deciding when you want to take a fight that might be a little slower, or is it going to be faster to reset and hope that you get a better fight? Because even a turn 1 win, if you spend a minute resetting, are you really saving time?
Yeah, and normally at 3 versus 1, it's not typically something that you want to use, not typically something you want to do. However, the problem with Andrew with this particular fight is the sheer fact that he has Ponyta, which is not great when dealing with do I have let's see, do I have the ability to get out of this jam in this turn? I could go for Professor Oak, which basically resets our hand, but I don't want to potentially put myself in a even worse spot. Scyther is pretty good, but thankfully we did not have to go up against the Jinx, because Jinx is slow. Jinx is not a danger to knock out Scyther, but man, is Jinx tanky Pokemon that will make things it'll make things slow for sure.
Okay, we've got a one-on-one here. We'd love to see that.
And against Hitmonchan, so this is perfect. Hitmonchan cannot do a single thing. But
If it gets 3 energy by that time, it can do 10 damage. So it just needs 7 hits to get us. And using Professor Oak to go for a plus power to take this from a 2-shot to a 1-shot. After using Swords Dance the first turn, which is our 1 grass energy attack. And doubles our damage the following turn.
all right, so thankfully we're done with this. This Rock Club segment was actually pretty decent. It's not awful. I've had way worse Rock Club segments than this. But this is the Rock Club boss, and oh, thank goodness, double colorless on the...
Ooh, starting with Scyther, Grass Energy, and a double. This is... We're 1-on-4 here. However, gym leaders cheat, so they're guaranteed between their opening hand and their first 5 cards to have a total of 4 basic Pokemon minimum there. So getting a fewer than 4 prize gym leader fight, almost impossible in this game. It's just the game cheating, realistically.
Yeah,
and it keeps reshuffling the deck until those conditions happen. There are a couple of major fights that will eventually be able to kind of RNG their way out of cheating against us, which is funny. But with this one, we're just kind of going through Gene, and as you can see, we're set up. We've got an extra energy in case he wants to remove one of our energy at some point. That no problems. We've got a plus power in the bank in case something annoying happens. This is just a good setup here.
Yeah, the cool thing about...
And we've got the plus power. Rhyhorn goes down in 1 shot.
And the cool thing about Scyther is that for most of the fights, the opponent, Gene, cannot do a single thing. He can't do a single thing because he doesn't have... The only Pokemon that are actually capable of doing damage without an unreal amount of luck in his favor are evolution Pokemon that are evolutions of some of the bases. So essentially, it would be the Trio and Rhydon. And thankfully, we were able to overcome this first boss. Thankfully, Gene is one of the easier fights, especially when you have an opening hand that good. I cannot complain. But thankfully, now on to honestly one of my favorite segments of the game, which is not something new to to all battles, but it's something that I love to go through and kind of test essentially my luck. Think of this as like, if you're in Yu-Gi-Oh, think of this as like the Joey Wheeler portion of the run, because it's all coin flips with Electabuzz. We have a flying Pikachu. That is fine. Electabuzz is essentially our star for these next few fights. Unfortunately, it is somewhat potentially slow, only because all of his attacks are coin flips. And his strongest attack, it's a double-edged sword. It has the ability to inflict 40 damage, but only if our coin flips land heads. If it lands tails, then unfortunately it will deal 20 damage to us, and we only have 70 HP. So it's quite a tricky thing to have to overcome. Thankfully, he has no.
Getting some good status luck here on the coin flips as well, and we had a full heal to take care of the time when we got confused. So RNG in our favor on this battle. Also, you see that Toronite did use a plus power there against the flying Pikachu that ended up not being needed, but that's a way to hedge the bets in case we lose the coin flip, that we still get the one hit.
Yeah. And
also, a fun fact about Joseph, he's everyone's favorite classic Pokemon type, Science.
Oh, yeah. If you guys didn't notice, Joseph is the gatekeeper of the Science Club. That's right. There were so few Pokemon types in the original TCG that they had to mate up types to be able to satisfy the typical 8 gyms. In this case, they're called clubs, but the 8 gyms that you see in every single Pokemon game. There's only 7 types, so unfortunately, this is about as much as you can do.
Yeah, also fighting pulling double duty, being the fighting club and the rock club. But now we're going into the other water club battles. These will be much easier than our first one, although Joshua here does have the, I believe, second highest count of basic Pokemon in the game. And the reason we care about our opponent's basics, he has 18 of them, is the more basics they have, the more likely we are to not be able to get a one-on-one. So like here, you get a 1-on-2 against Joshua, you don't even question keeping that.
Unfortunately, the Lapras just got added, so unfortunately, gonna have to reset. And that's kind of the unfortunate part of all this, because Joshua also, the thing we also want to worry about is Krabby. And Shelder, we'll get to Shelder in a second. Krabby has a move called Call for Family, which is add another Krabby to the bench. And he will spam that till the heat death of the universe. If it weren't for the, the 4 Pokemon limit, the 4 Pokemon copy limit this game imposes, he would probably spam Krabby's Call for Family forever.
He would absolutely play Relentless Rats if this were Magic the Gathering.
Thankfully, we actually didn't see Krabby once, which is actually kind of a little unusual across 2 resets. That's actually a little interesting. Ooh, we got Articuno.
Also picking up an Articuno that we might need later.
Yep. Depending on how many copies of Dugong we get. Thankfully, we get 1, but it is absolutely not. It is absolutely to our benefit to try and get. I mean, I say try, but it's not really up to us. But we want to try to see if I can get at least 3 copies of Dugong. If I can get 3 copies of Dugong, I feel good. If not, then I will have to settle for. I may have to settle for Articuno. Depends on how the rest of our deck looks like.
Yeah, now we are on to the Amy fight, which is our second club leader. And so far going pretty well. A lot of these basic Pokemon, Electabuzz doesn't need a lot of energy to power up, so we're just kind of clicking the knock out her Pokemon button.
All right.
She does have the ability to annoy us with Horsey's Smokescreen attack, which we have to flip a coin, and if we get heads, we get to attack. If it's tails, then we have to try to save scum the game until we can turn that into a heads.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon TCG does not check your doesn't update RNG unless RNG is called, which shuffling the deck or doing another coin flip is a thing. So we use a continue duels feature to go back to our previous decision point and find anything that will burn the bad coin flip we don't want so that we get another 50-50.
Yeah, and thankfully I had another Pokeball, which definitely would have been something that would reset the RNG and give us another 50-50 chance of making sure we actually would have been able to do. Now, this is kind of a dangerous point, actually. I did not pick up a single Duck Trio. That is actually kind of dangerous for a lot of the fights that we have coming up, especially with this first one. Say hello to our rival, Ronald. Okay, so full disclosure, in the 80% glitch list category, we don't even try to beat Ronald. We actually lose on purpose because Ronald doesn't quite know how to play the game. So what we try to do is use a full-on Magnemite deck in order to hopefully, not liking that. We're gonna add this Diglett and use energy removal to be able to avoid Charmander from knocking us out. But the thing with the dealio with Ronald is he doesn't really know how to play the game or build a deck. All he does is just put a bunch of Pokemon where he just essentially tries his best to he effectively tries his best to make sure that he gets the strongest Pokemon, but it also means that like there's a lot of different basics, and he's considered a boss fight, which means it's 6 prizes instead of your typical 4. And unfortunately, we are kind of at a dangerous point. What is our... Okay, thankfully, Cubone is...
I believe Ronald also cheats like the gym leaders, if I'm not mistaken on that.
I believe so, yes. He also does not have the thing with... Ooh, this is... Okay. I might be able to do something about this. Now, I could also just be digging my own grave even further.
Yeah, that's the downside to the continue duel feature, letting you go back to the resolution of your most recent action, is you can go back and undo a decision that you find out doesn't work out for you, but sometimes you'll just keep resetting and retrying something that's just going to end up not working, and you spend more time trying to salvage a bad fight than if you just reset and hope for a better one.
Oh my god, we actually are going to somehow sweep Ronald with Diglett? This is... absurd.
Toronite's just too good at this game.
This is absurd.
Ronald can't handle it.
I don't think I've ever actually done this before where I win a 4-prizer with just Diglett. Now,
so that's never happened before, you're saying?
I don't think it's not a fight this long that's taken this long. I'm glad I did not reset, but that's actually kind of go up against conventional wisdom, because every single top runner probably looking at this was probably screaming, reset, reset, for the love of Arceus, reset. But somehow we were able to do this fight.
Yeah, and usually when we're running a Doug Trio deck, our goal is to not take a fight until we have a pathway to a powered-up Doug Trio in our hand, whether that be Professor Oak, Computer Search, the Doug Trio just being there. We need some way to reasonably assure that we can get a Doug Trio. You can't always get that luxury when you only have one of your 60 cards is a Doug Trio.
Yeah, because there's also a possibility that the Trio is just not in the deck, period. The thing about...
Yeah, it could be in your prize cards.
Yes, the Trio can be a... so the way the prize cards work is that it's not just 6 random cards that just come out of thin air. No, it's 6 prize cards that come directly from your deck. So... you have to basically figure out, so you have to kind of hope that everything kind of goes well with the prize card, because if you have one Duck Trio, there's a good chance, well, not a good chance, I would say whatever a 6 and 53% chance of an event happening, that's essentially what we are dealing with. Those are the odds. I believe like 6 and 53 in terms of ensuring that we have ensuring that the Trio is not in the prize pool. If it's in the prize pool, Oh, it's not a fun time. By the way, that was Isaac. All he has are lightning type Pokemon. The trio resists lightning. They literally could not do anything except just paralyze the trio. So thankfully, we are done with that. That's kind of like the quote unquote boss gauntlet of the run where you are doing nothing but bosses. Although the next one is not a boss. After this one, it's not a boss Pokemon. But she might as well be a boss because she is extremely tough.
Also, this is a really funny situation here in the Fire Club. We're going up against the club leader, Ken. We're saving all of his underlings for later, but Ken, in true Pokemon tradition, being the Fire-type leader, doesn't have a ton of Fire-type Pokemon in his deck. He's got a Growlithe line and a couple of Magmars, and everything else is colorless. So we're actually coming in here. Colorless Pokemon are typically weak to fighting, which Diglett and Dugtrio count as. So we're actually hitting more of his Pokemon for weakness. And his Fire-type Pokemon take some time to build up to really be doing some damage to us here. And here we're going to evolve into Dugtrio. We still have some HP left. And starting next turn, we're going to be hitting everything for 70 and double that against the colorless Pokemon. So,
oh yeah, it's going to be so much fun. Oh, ooh, Chansey, are you gonna? Oh, thank goodness. That could have potentially slowed things down so much because Chansey has a move called Scrunch. All it does is it's automatically immune to all damage and all effects for one turn. And you think, okay, it's just one turn. The problem is in Pokemon TCG, one turn is all it takes for everything to snowball to such a degree that a run goes from, okay, I'm going to win this very easily, very quick, to I have to reset the entire fight. And, oh, I just lost 2 minutes. So thankfully, that is going to be, thankfully, we avoided that potential catastrophe. But we're not out of the woods yet with Chansey because the next boss fight, so 2 fights from now, we're going to be running into this potential scenario again.
And attacks like Chansey's Scrunch are the reason why a lot of cards in the current TCG now say you cannot use this attack if one of your Pokemon has used an attack with this name on the previous turn.
Oh, I did not know that. I did not know. I mean, there's so much about the new way, the modern TCG that I really just don't know. There's a couple of like ways to get out of, like, for example, when you're dealing with Rhyhorn's Leerlock, there is a solution out of it that I have learned quite a while back. I'm resetting that. That's okay. It brought out the Mr. Mime, and it's a 4 versus 1 with Diglett. Yeah, no thanks. That I learned that like it is actually it's actually was made illegal, the strategy in the original so typically it was Scyther. If you get hit with Leerlock, I'm resetting. We're gonna lose this one again. Stephanie is an incredibly difficult fight. By the way, she's one of the newer fights in all battles, and unfortunately, we're actually having some pretty crummy hands.
Yeah, also a fun thing that we've done here going into the Psychic Club is we've added Hitmonchan into our deck. Now, you're wondering, why would I want to bring a fighting-type Pokemon to the Psychic Club? And one of the big reasons is AI manipulation, but mostly in the Stephanie fight, it's because she has Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime has a Pokemon power, which is the precursor to abilities, where if an attack would do more than 20 damage to it, it does nothing. Or does no damage, at least. Diglett can do 10 or 30. Dugtrio's minimum is 40. Hitmonchan for 1 energy will do 20. And also, because it's weak to Psychic, the opponent will be incentivized to switch the Mr. Mime in against the Hitmonchan, making it easier to take it out because we don't have to worry about getting it in. Granted, we don't want to manipulate that as much here because we've also got Drowsy shenanigans in this battle.
Yeah, Drowsy shenanigans are not fun. This is the exact same frame. I'm gonna wait an extra second just to make sure I don't get the exact same frame. That was the exact same opening hand. Oh, it's finally. I needed a Hitmonchan this entire time, and thankfully I finally got one.
Also, we're leading Diglett because Diglett has no retreat cost, so we can easily swap that out, and that way, if anything happens like we get paralyzed, we can just deal with that. Because retreating gets away from having that problem. And also it'll take the damage so that we don't have to worry about it now. We're actually staying in with the Diglett against Lickitung so that we're not taking damage on our Hitmonchan to Spiral later, because we don't mind if the Diglett goes down. We see here, we lose a little bit of time to taking a prize, but now our Hitmonchan is fully powered up, we've got a plus power, and we can one-hit the Lickitung instead of having to deal with it. That Pokemon is central to the base fossil metagame now, because it is really bulky and has a Paralyze attack that it can spam on a coin flip. And we're getting a Mew sighting, which is not something that I think I've ever seen in any percent glitchless run.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single. Yeah, I don't think there's a single run. Okay, I'm trying to do the math. I think. Hold on. I'm trying to do the math. I think this is fine. Okay. Okay, that didn't even matter. Yeah, no, I was trying to do the math. Is like, would Mew's next attack actually take me out? It doesn't. Thankfully. Finally done with this
and the
Nightmare
Slowpoke 10
fight.
damage short, and we have just enough to take it out.
Nice.
Now that is what Pokemon TCG speedrunning is all about. Getting into a weird situation, trying to find a way out of it after having to reset a bunch of just completely unviable fights.
There's a part of me that's a
We show
little
a
bit.
lot of good luck on the GDQ channel here, but that's what running the game is a lot of the time.
Yeah, I will say, I'm actually kind of surprised it's taken us this long to have this type of fight. So I'm glad that thankfully it has not been too bad. Murray, okay. We need to talk about Murray. Murray is one of the single most annoying fights, not just from a speedrunning perspective, but from a whatchamacallit. Not just from a speedrunning perspective, but from a routing perspective. Murray, the only way to challenge Murray is to... Ooh, Kadabra. Oh, that's not great. Oh, no, never mind. We were good. I thought we were in trouble. We're not. The only way to challenge Murray is if you have 5 medals. So Murray is automatically something that you only can do in the late game, in the mid to late game. And that's unfortunate because you can do a Hitmonchan and Duck-Trio strategy. How do you have a second Kadabra already up? But guess what? I have another engine removal, so he cannot attack next turn.
Yeah. Kadabra for 3 Psychic Energy will do 50 damage to us, doubled to 100. So if we see it with 2 and we don't have a way to deal with that, then that's a reset right there.
Yeah, and so the thing with Murray is that Murray, because we can do Diglett, Duck-Trio, and Hitmonchan, like theoretically, there are so many fights in the game that can be beaten with just those 2 Pokemon. But the problem is, because of Murray, we essentially have now been forced to split the segments of the run where we use Duck-Trio and we use Hitmonchan. That's kind of the unfortunate part, because like I think for a lot of us, a lot of runners, if they had it their way, they would go through all of these fights where you are required to use a Hitmonchan or a not required, but it's the fastest option. You would, they would very easily be like, okay, let's just go 100%. Let's just do the entire Hitmonchan and Duck-Trio strategy as the very first thing we do in the run. But unfortunately, we've had to split it off twice. Finally.
Yeah, and part of that is changing your deck is 15-20 seconds minimum if you're doing it very nicely, so we want to minimize that as much as we can. And decent Murray fight. Murray is very much a run killer here, but nothing too scary there, just stalling a little bit by throwing bulky Pokemon at us to have to punch down. And now we see Ronald number 2, and once again, unfortunately, we can't boom against him, so we're going to have to actually beat Ronald.
Yeah, and this version of Ronald is a little bit bizarre. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. Come on, give me...
Mysterious Fossil lead. Mysterious Fossil is an item card that basically you play as if it were a Pokemon. Your opponent doesn't take any prizes if they knock it out. It has 10 HP, and we can discard it at any point. One thing that we like to use it for, and a main reason that it's in the deck, is if we get a status condition, we can switch into a Mysterious Fossil and then discard it and bring our Pokemon back in as another way of getting out of the condition if we don't have a full heal.
Okay, I kind of messed up a little bit my input, so now I am at the mercy of the RNG. Nope, we lost. That's an automatic loss. Dang. Okay, so it ultimately would not have mattered if I was able to reset before I find out the coin flip result. That's fine. But yeah, Ronald. Oh, finally, I get the Duck Trio, but no Diglett. That's great. Great. Thanks, guys. Unbelievable.
And wouldn't that Diglett be so nice against this Electabuzz that wouldn't be able to hurt it anymore?
Yep, exactly. Oh, there's Licky Tongue again. Great. Oh, man, Ronald just is on one. Well, to be fair, we also are having like really rotten luck when it comes to our Duck Trio count, because one Duck Trio, which is the one that we started this entire run with, is not even, is all that we have for Duck Trio, which it's not spelling disaster. Was that a Mr. Mime?
That was a Mr. Mime.
Great. Fantastic. I love it. I have Gust. And thankfully, I'm going to try to just take care of the Mr. Mime.
Take care of the Mr. Mime before it has a chance to actually put damage on us?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so using energy removal, because Mr. Mime can attack for 2 energy, and if it attacks with us only having 20 HP left, we're just done for. And you'll see Toronite is also building up a Duck Trio on the bench, which will take out everything quickly that isn't Mr. Mime. Even that Doduo won't be too much of a problem for it. Normally that's a Pokemon we hate to see. Anything that's a flying type is going to resist our fighting type. So that's just not a good situation to be in.
All right, Ronald, thanks. Enjoy your one free win. Now get dealt with 140 damage, which is 20 HP more than the max HP in this game up to this point in 1998. So, yeah.
And a plus power to one-shot the Doduo through the resistance here.
And you know what? That Tortoise is weak to fight. So you know what? Let's do that again. Let's deal 140 damage. I think I had another plus power, which I could have done 150 damage.
Earthquake is commonly referred to here as the win button, because once you have your Duck Trio built up for it, you just keep clicking that button until you win.
Right. We are actually... I always like to say that we are effectively kind of more or less at the halfway point. And I believe for a run this long we here on Hotfix, I believe we're going to eventually need to take a wee break. So I don't know, Shasta, whenever you think would be a great time for a break. This would, after this like segment of fights, we have a... Because after this fight, we have maybe one of the funnest, maybe the funnest portion of the entire run. So it'd be a nice little treat for anybody who is interested in this game to kind of experience. Because we have the Challenge Cup, which is one of the funnest parts. It has also like maybe the happiest and like most joyful music in the entire game, which we desperately need because we have this fight with Aaron, who is... another reason why when I said at the start of the run, every single unique deck in the game, he and Ronald are the 2 reasons why it is like that. Because Aaron has 3 different decks throughout the game. And, oh, perfect, we have a trio. Let's see. I just really hope he does not have plus power, because he can have plus power. He doesn't. Okay, we basically win.
Yeah, a chop with a plus power just knocks out a Diglett with no option. But now we've got Duck Trio, so even if he had more Pokemon, we wouldn't have any problems here.
All right, we have one more fight, and we're done with this like super annoying, really...
Wait, was that Coliseum Pack all energy?
Yep, that's also the cool thing about Aaron's deck is that... Oh, that's a 5 versus 1. No, thank you.
Oh no.
5 versus...
That's a reset.
That's a reset, and this is the hardest version of Aaron, the Grass and Psychic deck. This also is probably a reset. That's a reset. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, that's a bird. We're not good for birds.
Oh yeah, by the way, everybody, don't you just love Farfetch, the Grass and Psychic type Pokemon? Yeah, that's always great.
I mean, it has a leek. That's a plant. That's kind of like grass type.
That's close enough.
Come on. I can't do anything with this, fortunately. That would have been literally any other Pokemon that Aaron sets had brought out. I hate the Aaron menu input because it's a triple input and we are constantly matching A and B. And it's very easy to accidentally... I still have to double colorless energy all the way from that time ago. Are you kidding me? This has never happened.
Yeah, you never took that out of the deck.
Okay, we're gonna ignore the double colorless energy, but here's the problem. Why is Farfetch'd all of a sudden just now spammed? I'm pretty sure this is going to be a reset. I think this is Farfetch'd again. No, it's Abra. Abra and Drowsy. And an unnamed Pokemon in the back. Execute. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. We're gonna retreat.
And if you're asking the question of why are we fighting this deck with this deck, it's because we really don't have a better option.
Yeah, this is one of the sticking points when it comes to routing in this game that we still have not fully figured out because it's 3 different decks. We've theorized about what if we do this fight at X point? What if we do like the first 2 fights at a certain point, and then we just do the other 2 fights at another point in the run, which is a possibility. The problem here is that like you're just wasting time just leaving the room to go out into the overworld to just then do more to have to come back. Which travel is instant, but it's not exactly something that you just want to go willy-nilly explore the entire overworld. So thankfully we are done with this. That was actually pretty solid, Aaron. The first 2 fights went magnificently, which gave us a nice cushion. And hope you enjoy this music. This is the Challenge Cup. So the way the Challenge Cup works is that's an interesting one. That could be a couple of trainers, and I'm hoping it is one that requires I'm hoping that it's one that requires a psychic deck. Otherwise, this is going to be a big time loss.
Yeah, and a big problem with using Psychic in this game is that most colorless Pokemon resist Psychic. And really the strongest one we have access to at this point in the game is Kadabra, which evolves from a 30 HP Abra. Very easy to knock out. Kadabra doesn't have a ton of HP. It can do 50 damage, but if you're going up against the colorless Pokemon, that's going to go down to 20. And
No!
You're just not going to be okay.
No, it's Stephanie again. Oh, no.
No!
Oh no.
Oh, no, it's Stephanie again. Okay, back to... So I didn't need that.
Can someone tell the game this is technically not a marathon?
Oh my goodness.
We don't need marathon luck?
I was doing a stream earlier today, and I was having the worst luck with the RNG giving me these opponents are random. So the way it works is it's a 3-round tournament. The reason why we are doing this is because the finals is a special version of Ronald that you can only fight in this tournament. But we have to go through 2 random NPCs. And unfortunately, it's maybe the worst one to have to be deal with. And of course, it's a... this is going to go so poorly.
And not only that, the Ronald fight that we get here, arguably the hardest fight in the game.
Yeah, definitely the hardest version of Ronald. That's for sure. We're still not done with the worst fights in the game. That's much later. Okay. Diglett and Hitmonchan, where were you? 4 versus 1, but this is one of those take what you can get, because thankfully, honestly, at this point, it's the Leaky Tongue that's kind of more of a concern, just for paralysis. Okay, Slowpoke can be taken out in 1 hit, so I'm not concerned about that. Energy removal now kind of makes it a little bit of a concern. Only because the Licky Tongue can now, depending on how Stephanie plays this could be something where I could potentially get stun locked into being in KO range.
We do at least have the 1 full heal, which will be okay.
Ooh, okay. So this is great. Another Mr. Mime. So Hitmonchan needs to live. I think this Mew is a very special Mew. This is a special promo variant of Mew that also has a very unique Pokemon power called, I honestly forgot what the name of it. It's not something that comes up very frequently, but it is a Do I have I don't have plus power grade. It's a special Pokemon power that nullifies all damage done by Pokemon from your opponent that are in its evolutionary stage. So that kind of that's kind of pretty annoying to deal with. So Ductrio is utterly worthless against that Mew. But thankfully we are done. We're done with the first round of the Challenge Cup. That was the first round. I'm hoping
Sheesh.
that the next opponent is gonna be fine. Kristen, you know what? Yeah, let's keep this deck. It's not ideal, but I want to go for Hitmonchan. Okay, perfect. Shout outs to Welsh RTA, the current world record holder of this category. I was the former world record holder. One day I will take back my world record. He loves doing this fight with Hitmonchan, because theoretically it is possible to win this fight with Hitmonchan. It's just a little bit cumbersome, and it's not even the fastest theoretical way to go about doing this fight. If you get a Ponyta and you go up against a like Bellsprout, it actually has the ability to potentially... Okay, that's really bizarre. So I'm hoping that the confusion... No, doesn't work. So we have Professor Oak, so I can just... Oh, I have Pokeball. Okay, this is a great time to showcase. So, yes, okay. So, that coin flip went Tails. It will always be Tails because the RNG is basically locked into that. However, if, as Autumn alluded to much earlier in the run, if you do something to kind of re-roll the RNG, like say do another coin flip or shuffle the deck, the RNG re-rolls. So knowing that coin flip was going to be Tails, what I did is I used the Pokeball Trainer card to effectively eliminate or waste away that Tails coin flip and re-roll the RNG again. There was an old schoolyard rumor, because this is a Gen 1 game, and of course, it always there were plenty of rumors about stuff that doesn't make sense. The rumor with this game is that if you hit the coin flip, if you press A when you're doing a coin flip, and on a certain frame, that it will always go heads. Like, for example, like the first frame that you see the Pikachu head kind of pop in as it's like being flipped around, like it'll always go heads. I'm here to tell you that's false. And
it's the equivalent of the up B trick in Red, Blue, Yellow.
Yes. Might have to reset because this is not an ideal. Yeah, this is not an ideal. And thankfully we have 4 Dugongs. So it's just a matter of...
We hate to see Kangaskhan on the opponent's side because it's a very slow card. It has 90 hit points, so it takes a while to knock out, especially when Seal's only doing 10 damage to it. And for 1 energy, it'll draw a card every turn. So that gives Ronald more options to use against us and takes time to draw the card. And this game loves giving a bunch of random trainers Kangaskhan.
And oh my god, this is like the worst kind of RNG stall fest. But I have the Dugong, and I don't want to waste it away. So I'm just going to hope that Scrunch does not do a ton of damage, or that alternatively that Ronald adds a 5th Pokemon to the bench, and never mind. So that I wouldn't have to potentially encounter Chansey. Never mind. We have to fight Chansey. Graveler. Ooh, that's one I was not expecting, but that's still fine. Graveler at most can do 40 damage, and I have with me a plus power, which means I can knock out the Dugong, the Graveler in 1 turn. Let's see, Rock Throw. Not what we'd like to see. Plus power. All right.
Yeah, this game really is Dugong's greatest chance to shine in the series, I think.
Yeah,
As for 3 energy, it does 50 damage, and nothing in the game resists water.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's actually the really funny thing. Nothing resists water in this game, which is kind of funny. Like not even like fellow water types. Not even fellow water types can.
I don't know if
resist water.
any card has ever existed that's resisted water in this game. like in the trading card game of real cards.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the TCG past 2001, so your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I definitely don't know the whole series, but that's a fun thing to do some research on.
All right, so this is here comes the meme fight. Okay, so this is Imakuni. Imakuni, the best way we can describe him is he is essentially this game's version of Tingle. He is also a boss, believe it or not. He is actually a boss fight in this game. And he has a signature card, which is it contains the best flavor text, in my opinion, in all of card games. Not just in Pokemon, in all of card games. And I'm hoping that he pulls it out. Oh, that's dicey.
Farfetch'd, our old nemesis.
The Farfetch actually isn't that big of a concern because I think I had a defender, so I would be able to live it. It's the lack of Kadabra. Oh, there we go. This is what I wanted.
Yeah. One-on-one, much better.
Ah, perfect.
And the Imakuni card comes out.
Okay, I know we're in...
So he just confused his own Pokemon.
Okay, I know we're in the middle of a speed run. We have to read the actual card. We gotta read.
Oh, absolutely have to.
Yes.
100%.
Okay, this is what it reads. The flavor text. Your active Pokemon is now confused. That's right, your own Pokemon is confused. Imakuni wants you to play him as a basic Pokemon, but you can't. A mysterious creature not listed in the Pokedex. He asks kids around the world who is cuter, Pikachu or me. Now, the fun little trivia surrounding this game is that Imakuni is programmed to automatically play his signature card the moment he adds it to the hand. Like he is bound by the universe to automatically play the card that actively hinders his own Pokemon. In fact, the way Confusion works is if you flip a coin if you want to attack. If it lands heads, the attack goes forward. If it lands tails, you get hit with 20 damage of your own type. So say a Psychic type Pokemon gets hit with Confusion, it'd basically be the equivalent of being hit with 20 damage, with a 20 HP damage of Psychic type. So, Slowpoke, the 40 HP variant Slowpoke that he contains in his deck, is weak to Psychic. So, in theory, you could see a scenario where Imakuni can get confused. The 40 HP variant, finally a second Doug
We
trio.
got another Doug trio.
Finally,
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
That just made the entire run like exponentially more bearable. But as I was saying, Imakuni, if he confuses his 40 HP Pokemon, Slowpoke, and say he has nothing else on the bench, and Imakuni goes first, and he wants to attack on turn 1, and he confuses his own Pokemon, and he fails to coin flip. He knocks out his own Pokemon and automatically loses the fight. I'm resetting this. He automatically loses the fight before our first turn. So we get, from our perspective, the only possible way in this game to get a 0-turn kill, which is unbelievably rare. I've only been able to pull that off, I think, twice ever. We have a category for this game called Imakuni percent, which is one of the funnest categories. It's just beat Imakuni 3 times, and when you beat Imakuni on the 3rd try, you automatically get that amazing trainer card. And I see chat thanking Imakuni for the Duck Trio. Thank you, Imakuni. You without exaggerating, you might have actually saved the run, Imakuni. You might have actually saved the run.
Also, we're talking about this because we don't want to talk about this fight. Brittany is one of the most frustrating fights in the game. She has 20 basic Pokemon. There's no theme to the deck. It's called the Etc. deck. They just threw all of the basic Pokemon that weren't anywhere else into this deck and said, send it. We fight it with Kadabra because there's no real common weakness, but nothing she has can really deal with it much because none of the cards are good. In categories that allow manipulations, Brittany is generally the first fight in the game because there's a 1-frame window to get a first turn win. Otherwise, you're pretty much going the full distance of 4 prizes. Because a literal third of her deck is basic Pokemon.
Let's see. This is Rick, by the way. This is our 6th gym leader, no, club master, so to speak, called Rick. He is the leader of the science club. What is our... Yeah, no. Resetting this. I use the energy search card. Energy search, what it does is you peek at your deck and try to pick out an energy card to add to your hand. What we do is... This is also going to be another reset, I betcha. Yeah. What we do is with energy search sometimes is that we just scout out what's going to be the next few cards in our deck. Mainly because the way searching for your deck works in this game, you can... Oh, perfect. It basically goes through the deck in top to bottom in order of what comes next. So basically, the first 5 cards that appear when you're searching through your deck, those are going to be the next 5 cards that you pull off. So you do a quick energy search and you effectively figure out, okay, this is going to be the next few cards. This is how I'm going to plan things accordingly.
Not me learning new tech here live on GDQ Hotfix.
And also, energy search has another use in the sense that when you use energy search, you shuffle the deck, so it re-scrambles the RNG. So that is another way of trying to get yourself out of a potential bad coin flip, if the need ever arises.
Also, the Porygon here in Rick's deck is really frustrating because it only has 30 HP. It can't attack. All it can do is change weaknesses and resistances around so it can make us weak to things. However, it resists Psychic, so even at 30 HP, it's a 2-shot for Kadabra if we don't find a plus power, and it's just slow. Rick is one of those battles that it's not really easy to lose unless you get bad luck with status conditions, which is kind of what they were going for with Science here, either statuses or bursts. But he can really take a long time to lose.
Okay.
And there is our 6th medal. We only have 2 more to go.
Yep, we 2 more to go, but I think a total of 10, 11 fights before we actually get to the end game. And here comes maybe my least favorite part of the new fights that get added to all battles. Who am I kidding? It's still Aaron. The way David and Eric operate very weirdly. David is the quote-unquote Nidoran leader. As you saw, his lead, Doduo. And Eric, which is the next fight, he specializes in poison. So all he does is try to poison the opponent. This could be an automatic loss. It's not an automatic loss, thank goodness. If that coin flip had landed heads, then we would have lost because it does 30 damage. The funny thing about that move, Leak Slap, all it does is... I'm gonna have to evolve. Yes, I will evolve. Whatever. We can win this on the next turn if he doesn't add anything else. Yes. It's a once per duel effect. If you use Leak Slap, no matter what the coin flip result ends up being, you can never use Leak Slap for the remainder of the duel. I believe, although I don't remember off the top of my head, if it's per Farfetch'd or if it's once per duel or once for the entire fight. It's like,
I have to believe it's once per Farfetch'd because I don't think they got anything that sophisticated this early in the card game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so yeah, it's basically, think of it in Yu-Gi-Oh terms, like it's either a soft once per turn or a hard once per turn. Or I guess once per duel or a soft once per duel.
And now we're showing off a new promotional Mewtwo that we picked up here.
Yep, this is our reward for beating Murray. There's an old man that... Okay, that's... I don't think I've ever seen a Kakuna in the speedrun. And that's not great. This is... Oh boy, this will be a race against the clock. Trying to do the quick math here. I want to say that the math checks out. Stiffen could be... Never mind. Math... Stiffen effectively is the same thing as Scrunch, where if it lands heads, you're practically immune. So we're going to have to reset. That's a dang shame.
We love when our opponent completely stalls damage while we're poisoned and taking 10 damage every turn.
Yeah. And we get poisoned again. Great. Unfortunately, this is what we're gonna have to contend with throughout the.
Hashtag science.
Let's see. Build. Do I have? The thing with this Mewtwo is this Mewtwo can effectively beat out all of Eric's Pokemon. The question is getting to be able to attack. Mewtwo requires 3 energy to attack. However, it has one move that allows us to recover energy cards from the... Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Okay, if by doing this, we automatically... we can acquire energy cards from the discard pile. So the strat with Mewtwo is we try to hope to get something that basically allows us to discard cards from the discard pile, and we use the energy absorption to recover some of those lost cards. And instead of waiting 3 turns to attack, we can attack on the second turn. And believe me, that makes a world of difference when it comes to Mewtwo, especially when we only have 1 copy. And I'm gonna hope, pray to Arceus that we can have this something similar, because Mitch is an extremely punishing fight. Yes, perfect.
Yeah, if you can remember, about an hour ago, we were talking about how we had to track down his minions to unlock the ability to battle him, and we're finally paying that off here.
Yeah, and thankfully, okay, what are the odds that we're not gonna draw? Okay, never mind. I was about to say, what are the odds that, like, we draw 7 new cards in, like, I don't know, 50 card in, like, at this point, like a 50 card deck, that we end up just... Actually, no, it's like closer to like 45 cards, I think.
I mean, if you had gotten the sentence out before you did it, it would have been a 100% chance to not draw any energy.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. Oh, thank goodness. Mitch is one of those fights that, with the Mewtwo strat, it can go relatively well, but if you just get really unlucky draws, it can go very, very poorly. Okay. This is another new fight in the All Battles category. Let's count. Okay. This is called the Ghost deck. Let's count how many quote-unquote ghosts he actually plays. Because...
we were arguing pre-show on whether Ditto counts as a ghost. So chat, can Ditto count as being kind of a ghost, as from Pokemon from only Gen 1, the only other thing that could be a ghost, or am I just grasping at straws here?
Okay, how about Chad? Is Meowth a ghost? Quick, is Meowth a ghost?
Okay, I can't argue that one.
Yes?
Meowth is not a ghost yet.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the thing with this, normally I would try to go for a psychic deck to be able to combat this, but Meowth resists. This is very ideal. This is actually really good. Normally we would try to go for a psychic deck because Zubat and Ghastly are weak to psychic. Unfortunately, there's Ditto. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of not having to face Meowth and Ditto. There it is again. And they resist fighting. They resist, not fighting, they resist psychic. So unfortunately, that's something that we have to contend with. Wow, you really want to do this? You want to play this game? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Do I have another plus power? I don't. So, say hi to Magmar, who will obliterate the rest of who will obliterate this deck. And that's kind of the thing.
Magmar's thing is for 3 fire energy, it does 50 damage and discards 1 of the energy. And when we have so much energy in our deck, that's not really a big problem.
Okay, we got the evolution cards. We actually didn't talk about...
Blastoise spotted.
Yeah. We actually didn't discuss a whole lot about the booster packs. Booster packs are separated into 4 categories, into 4 different booster packs, I should say. Coliseum, Laboratory, Evolution, and Mystery. And we want to try to always go for Coliseum. Every trainer has their own designated booster pack, so it's not like it's RNG. But the name of the game is to try to get a lot of the Coliseum booster packs, just so that we don't have to, just so that we can get a lot of the good cards that will help us throughout the speed run. Coliseum are the booster packs that has stuff like the Trio, and Hitmonchan and Electabuzz and Scyther and Plus Power and Computer Search. And unfortunately, I could really go for a Computer Search right about now.
Yeah, and then Evolution has double colorless energy and like one other thing, and the other types, I can't even think of a single card that we care about in them.
Yeah, I think, trying to think. I think Evolution has Pokemon Trader, which is the kind of a rare card to encounter, but it's a very useful card. It's kind of as the name implies. You trade a Pokemon from your hand and you search for another Pokemon in the deck, which is pretty darn good when it comes to trying to search out for those pesky duck trios that are so great.
Also, there's a fun possibility with an opponent later in the run who uses Pokemon Trader that can use it to strictly worsen their position in the battle.
Yeah, this is, the AI sometimes operates a little bit bizarrely. But, you know, sometimes bizarre is a little good, especially in a speedrun, because sometimes they can definitely be a big help to us. We're actually...
And plus, like, it's a miracle that they managed to get a faithful rendition of the trading card game running on the Game Boy Color. Like, absolutely shout out to the dev team for that.
Yeah, no, like, and it's not just like it's not even like a bare bones type of deal with this game. Like, there's a lot of love and a lot of care put into this. The music is great. The visuals are fantastic for 1998. The sprite art is beautiful. Like, the way that they've been able to do this. Oh, hi, Vileplume. Also,
wow.
Also, why? Like, actually, that's...
You don't see that every day.
Thankfully, that was actually a good thing. A lot of these grass type, or more specifically, Kristen and Nikki, if they happen to have the Pokemon Breeder card and the ability to super evolve, which is what Breeder does. It goes, so basically an Oddish can automatically turn into Vileplume without needing to turn him to Gloom. They will go into that. The funny thing about it is the game is, the funny thing is they will do that without actually thinking, oh, wait a minute. I can't attack now. I can attack with Oddish. I can't attack with Vileplume because higher stage Pokemon require more energy cards, and I don't have, and I did not do the proper setup. So it's always funny whenever the AI does that. Kristen, the opponent that we fought right before Nikki, she does the same thing with Bulbasaur and evolves it into Venusaur. I've had that encounter a few times, and I can tell you this: never, and I mean never, have I ever seen Venusaur actually attack when it's summoned onto the field. It's that incredibly rare for that to happen.
Yeah, also, now we have all 8 of the medals, so we could go challenge the Dome, but because this is all battles, we have to go take out the Fire Club.
Yep. And
these are battles that in any percent glitch list you will never, ever see.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And these are actually not difficult fights. The annoying thing is that if you don't have a good opening hand, or you encounter stuff like Doduo, which just has a bunch of cards that will waste away time just by constantly flipping coins. Okay, no, what? Okay, Defender and plus power. Okay, unfortunately, you get washed away by Dugong, which I'm so thankful for. A lot of my recent runs of this game, unfortunately, have been plagued by not having enough Dugongs. And it just, this portion, it just becomes a lot more annoying. It never becomes like run killing, but it becomes like that much harder. And when you're trying to go for world record, these are not the kinds of things you want to try to have throughout your run.
Yeah, and the really funny thing, if you think about like actual mainline Pokemon games here, is that the strat we're going for is Dugong. Our backup is Articuno. There is some debate over what's better. They both are Pokemon that are able to do 50 damage for not a lot of energy and nothing resists them. Articuno has the benefit of it's a basic Pokemon, so you can guarantee that you'll get it, and you don't have to find a way to get to a Dugong. When we have 4 of them in the deck, that's not really a big concern. As we see there, for once, actually using a a Pokeball to get a Pokemon out of our deck instead of just using it to scam on a coin flip.
But now the real challenge becomes, when will Eevee not do Tail Wag, which locks us out from being able to do anything? Oh, thank goodness it evolved into Flareon. That's actually good, because all Flareon can do is just attack, not stop us from not being able to attack. And
all Flareon can do is come in and take an L.
all right.
Yeah, because we can one-shot the Eevee as long as it doesn't prevent us from attacking it, which fortunately it wanted to do damage, so we're able to get through the Atom fight here.
Okay, Coliseum final, the second to last Coliseum packs, and they're duds. Unfortunately, they
Also, one thing to note about the booster packs is there is a slight, I'm losing the word, but there's a slight preference in the packs that will lean toward it being more likely to be the type of the gym that you get them in for your rare, at least in the pack.
I'm resetting this because the trainer counts are not super hot, and Jigglypuff has the ability to add more stuff to the bench despite not having Pokemon.
Yeah, Jigglypuff, much like the Krabby that we didn't see earlier, has an attack where it can summon more Jigglypuff, and the opponent loves to get more Pokemon to waste our time.
Ooh, that was unfortunate. This is going to be quite annoying. Jonathan is probably the most annoying out of 3 fights because he's got... His deck is called the Reshuffle deck. That's a 4 versus 1. We are not taking that. It's called the Reshuffle deck, which I guess the gimmick is like turning things around, whether it's like shuffling energies or shuffling your opponent's hand. Yeah, I'm just gonna allow this Pidgey to be able to take out the Mysterious Fossil, which effectively serves as a shield to protect us.
Get some F's in the chat for that Fossil there. Thank you for your service.
Very much so, because now Dugong is primed and ready, and he's gonna take out everything. Oh no, you use energy removal. If only I had another water energy.
Yeah, like the name of a lot of these Fire Club battles is just get a Dugong set up, and then you're good.
All right, we are officially...
We got a Snorlax and a Zapdos.
Oh,
How many Zapdos have you got in this run? Because I swear I've seen at least 5 of them.
You know what? We have time. We are in the end game. Let's just see what our booster packs... We get free booster packs by achieving certain milestones throughout the game. Let's just go for all of them. We still got... Hopefully this doesn't potentially ruin us time-wise. I mean, it's fine. Not the end of the world. And there are Coliseum booster packs.
The old strat we used to have here was there are actually algorithms that if you open packs in a certain order, you can guarantee certain results. That Hitmonchan's pretty nice, but not what we're looking for here.
Yeah, that Hitmonchan's a little bit too late. The Articuno, I think...
But it's like you look at a couple of factors of RNG and then open specific numbered packs in a specific order and you'll get the card that you want. But we've kind of stopped doing it because even, like, at best, you're kind of throwing a minute into that, and the route has gotten good enough in this game to where you don't really have that minute anymore.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of the boost packs that we got were not great. I think we got an extra defender, but I don't need it that badly. But I do need that Dugong. I need a Dugong right now.
And so,
yeah,
in the dome here, we're up against the 4 Grandmasters here. They all centered their deck around one promo card that was built specifically for this game that used some RNG functions that you couldn't really replicate on cards. So each of them is built around one of the 4 legendary birds. Now, you may be asking, what do I mean by 4 legendary birds? Don't worry, we'll get there. But we'll talk about that one. But the reason we do the Fire Club battles last is that we're using the Dugong deck for that, and for Courtney here, we'll be switching to a different deck for the rest of the Elite Four. But here, because she is the Moltres deck, as a lot of Fire-type Pokemon that are going to take a lot of damage from our Water types here. One of the reasons we like using Dugong is also Seal can do some chip damage, throwing 20 at a time against these Fire types, as opposed to Articuno that can't attack until it gets 3 energy.
Ooh, perfect.
Fossil Magmar here, very annoying in that it uses an attack called Smokescreen that requires us to get a heads on a coin flip in order to be able to attack.
Oh, I forgot to actually evolve. I got the dugong. Oh, wait, I forgot. Forgot to get the dugong.
Also, a fun fact of the promotional legendary birds here is that they all have 100 HP and no weakness.
Nope. But they all
They
resist
do
fighting.
resist fighting, though,
Which,
just to make our life worse.
yeah, it's because guess what our win condition is going to be after this? After this one fight. Duck Trio, which, again, everybody say thank you to Imakuni for giving us that extra Duck Trio. I cannot tell you.
Thank you, Imakuni.
I cannot stress how important that second Duck Trio is. Like I said earlier, if that one Duck Trio had been in the prize pool, reset the entire fight. Unless you are somehow able to survive with only Diglett and be able to prize scum your way into figuring out what prize card slot the Duck Trio is. So it is massive. Okay.
Yeah, and once you get past the initial early gauntlet where you get all of your Coliseum packs, generally in an actual attempt and not a marathon run, if you only have one Duck Trio at that point, you're just resetting. You're not going to try to take that run unless you have an absolutely epic pace. But now we're switching to Duck Trio for the rest of the game. We've talked about how the legendary birds all resist fighting. Doesn't matter. Even after resistance, we're still doing 40, so they're a 3-shot. We're up against Steve, who is the only clubmaster here who there's really a viable way to get a one-turn win. You'll see some runners go for it if they're really desperate and trying to claw back a pace. But also, Steve is built around the legendary Zapdos card, which, when he plays it, it will do 30 damage to one random Pokemon. Might be one of his, might be one of ours. So...
Pokeball. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it was way deep into the deck. Okay. That is fine, because now we just do a bunch of... Waste away all of our energy cards because our hand is going bye-bye.
Yep, and now we're able to do 10 damage as Chip there, which is going to potentially fix the math if a potion comes out.
Yeah.
And now we've got our Duck Trio powered up. There's not really anything that Steve can do to it aside from kill some time, or if he somehow builds up a legendary Zapdos.
But even then, at this point of the run, at this point of the fight, he's not going to have enough time because I have Gust of Wind, which is great. Oh, hey, there's the second Duck Trio. And also...
Thank you, Imakuni.
And also the...
Thank you, Imakuni.
And also the... Steve doesn't really do a whole lot of setting up with the... when it comes to the AI. When it comes to the... when it comes to setting up that legendary Zapdos to attack, which is kind of bizarre. And it's funny because that legendary Zapdos, if set up properly, is the most powerful card in the game. Like, it's not even a question. The way that Imakuni, that Zapdos works is with just 3 energy, it'll do 70 damage to any of your opponent's random Pokemon. This feels like I'm gonna have to reset.
Potential AJ strat time.
Nope. They didn't get the Duck Trio.
Nope, that's a reset. So we're up against Jack now, the legendary Articuno deck holder. In our community Discord, which anybody interested in the game, you can find the link on our speedrun.com page. We have a channel called I Lost the Run To. About 50% of the posts are this guy.
That's actually being generous.
No.
That's actually, I would say 50% is generous.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Jack is the run killer.
Yeah, Jack is...
Worst fight in the game.
He possesses every single bad quality in an opponent when it comes to speed running. He has tanky Pokemon like Chansey. He's got heavy hitters like Articuno and Lapras. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Well, no.
Which not only are heavy hitters, but also are tanky.
Yes. Do I wanna? Yeah, why not? Hope that I can get the Duck Trio. No, that's a reset. That's unfortunate.
It always feels bad when your route to get a Duck Trio is a Professor Oak because it's not guaranteed. But you've got to at least go for it.
Yeah, and
okay, we've got a Pokeball and an Oak, so there's a prayer of a chance of it.
This is a little bit dicey because I don't have a way to either heal or So my hope here is that I can. Oh, there's the. By the way, that's the legendary Articuno that just popped up for 2 frames. When it's played on the field.
When it comes to
Oh, go ahead.
when the legendary Articuno comes into play, it's a coin flip on a heads. Our active Pokemon is paralyzed, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Ah, beautiful. We got 2. We got 2 deck trios, both deck trios in the deck.
Easy every time.
Absolutely. Okay. What is our... Okay. Nothing is going to... The reason why I'm not evolving right now is because he technically has a second Articuno, and that could also potentially hurt us. Okay, it's...
Yeah, evolving a Pokemon in this game, if you have a status condition, will clear it. So we'll often delay evolution if there's a chance that we could get statused, so that we have a way out of the status condition if it's not going to cost us an extra turn. And there we go, using Gust of Wind to bring in that Chansey just to get it out of the way.
All right, now ideally...
And right now we're just clicking the win button.
Yeah, ideally I would rather have... I would love to have 2+ powers. Wait, do I... Well, I don't even know if I have 2+ powers to begin with. In remaining the deck, because one of them could very well be a prize card.
Yeah, and one of the other skills in this game is, like, we saw we have a plus power there. We had a Professor Oak. There are times where in trying to get 1 more plus power, the most powerful card in the game, in order to cut down a turn, where you can dump a minute into digging through your deck looking for the plus power, not get it, and be in no better of a position and just taking a massive time loss. And the high-end part of this game is so RNG heavy, but the ability to make the right decisions and the right calls in your situations and what you gamble on is a huge factor. And now we're on to Rod. Rod has the 4th legendary bird, Dragonite. We very rarely see Dragonite come out because it's a 3rd stage and not a basic, so he can't cheat for it. Rod also has a fun fact. He has Pokemon Trader. He only has fire energy in the deck, so anything that uses other types of energy, because he has all of the evolutions, or no, I'm thinking of the wrong deck.
No, don't worry. That's a spoiler. If anything, that's a spoiler. Don't worry. We will get there.
Yeah, Rod is only water energy. I get always mixed up by the Charmanders and think it backwards.
Yeah, which you would think. Wait a minute. What's that funny business with that of Charmander using water energy? The reason why is because when it fully evolved into Charizard, it has a special ability that converts all types of energy cards into fire energy. Like, they don't physically turn into fire energy, they just act as if they're fire energy. And if it gets to the point where you see a Charizard out and it has the ability to attack, run. Because that
also,
thing...
Dratini with a double colorless energy is scary, because if it has time to evolve into a Dragonair, that is an attack that does 2 coin flips, which is slow, and it does 30 for each head, so that can escalate very quickly. Also, in my defense, on the wrong answer there. Rod and Ronald have very similar names and bad decks, so...
Yeah, pretty much. And so spoiler on the next fight, it's Ronald one more time. I mean, look, if you played a Generation 1 game, you saw this coming a mile away. You knew it was gonna be Ronald. Like, that's how Pokemon works. That's how Pokemon in Generation 1 work. It's gonna be your rival. Now, Ronald, as Autumn alluded to earlier. Ronald has 2 copies of all 4 legendary Pokemon. Now, I want you guys to follow my logic for a second. Zapdos requires lightning energy, and Articuno requires water energy to attack. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. Moltres requires fire energy to attack. Again, seems pretty straightforward. What if I tell you that Ronald doesn't have a single water or lightning energy for the entirety of his deck? Wait. Oh, why is my controller just acting a little bit weird just now? Come on, controller. You're fully charged. We're almost there.
You got this, controller.
Come on, we're almost. Okay. Okay. This is getting a little worrisome. My controller just does not want to respond. We are almost there, buddy. don't know what is up with
I believe. Let's go. Come on, controller.
So
Controller?
here's the Zapdos coming into play that
what?
does.
Oh, no.
Come on.
Oh no!
What is going? There we go. Okay.
The Zapdos chose to knock out the Diglett on our bench
And
through RNG.
no. Oh my God, that's so incredibly lucky. Okay, we survived the monstrosity that was Zapdos.
And a clutch energy removal to take a double colorless off of a Dratini before that can be a problem. Now we've got a Zapdos that will never be able to attack us, so that is beneficial. Now, a fun thing about Ronald, if you remember back when I was talking about how gym leaders cheat to make sure that they have 4 Pokemon early in their deck, we're past the point where it would matter, but Ronald does also have Pokemon Trader. If he gets it, he is incentivized to try to trade for a Flareon for no real reason
Yeah,
that we can understand.
yeah, that's a
But
little
if he
bit
does
weird.
that, he shuffles his deck so actually undoes the cheat.
Oh.
And it's just a fun little piece of trivia that doesn't come up often, but it's fun when it does.
I'm going to have to. It's all right, folks. Heart of the cards time. Duck Trio. No, but we have another. Oh, okay. But we have Gust of Wind, so we can take out the Eevee. All right, Heart of the cards.
And then we just need better RNG now.
Yep. Okay. Heart of the cards. One more time. There we go. Heart of the cards, baby. They were right next to each other. Oh, that's doubly insulting.
TCG gonna TCG.
There we go. Just one more hurdle. Just try to take out the. Gotta
And
try.
double plus power to save a turn here. You love to see it.
All right, this is. Oh, this is bad. This is bad.
Yeah, this Moltres, if it gets powered up, can have the possibility of doing 70 damage on a successful coin flip.
All right, this is gonna be it. This is the game. Okay, no, hold on. We have a defender. I can get out of this. I can potentially.
We also have a Pokeball if you want to try to fix that flip.
I don't want to potentially run the risk of it. There just being a bunch of consecutive coin flips. So you're going, but we are
Save
going
that
to start.
scam for the next time.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the defender keeps it from one-shotting us, but that's one of the downsides of Doug Trio is only 70 HP means there are some things that can harm it.
Let's see. We win. Oh, thank goodness. Woo! All right. That's that. Of course, in true marathon fashion, Ronald decides to be a jerk about it and wants to kind of make this a little bit more stressful than it needed to be. We had the Pokeball that could have potentially saved our butts by re-rolling the RNG, but yeah, this is it. We beat Ronald, and we get our prizes. We get one copy of
We get
all
all
of them.
4 legendary birds.
And that will be timed at about 5 seconds ish. After it'll be on the first white screen after we get for the final text box, and that'll be time in 3, 2, 1, time. Woo!
GG.
Okay,
GG Toronite.
not bad for a marathon run, especially with a lot of cursed stuff going into throughout the run. One Duck Trio for the majority of an all battles run is especially unlucky. So I'm actually glad that we were able to kind of survive that. And thankfully, early game was decent. Early game was decent. Stephanie, on the 2 occasions we have to fight her, because again, Challenge Cup is completely random. So we just happened to get like the worst possible luck with opening the tournament with Stephanie. But oh man, that was a lot of fun. This category is like I said at the start, is my passion project. It's my baby. I wanted to have another completionist type of category for this game, and I'm so glad that even some of the top runners have, they've been enjoying running this category. It's quite a gauntlet to go through because, I mean, like I say, you go from like mid 20 something fights all the way to like 46 fights. That's not that's not an easy thing to go through mentally. Like me personally, when I stream, I can probably only muster up 2 full all battle runs in one sitting. before my decision making, my judgment, my mental stamina just starts taking a nosedive. But either way, but like the couple of runs that I'm able to execute throughout this for this category, it's so much fun. It allows you, it incentivizes you to do a lot of research, to be able to think of fun little routing strategies. That's the cool thing about Pokemon TCG. Because everything is kind of open world, quote unquote, and travel is instantaneous, it opens the door to a lot of routing experiments. And, you know, for example, like a few months ago when I had the world record and Welsh RTA, the current world record holder, our PBs were like separated by like something like 20 seconds, 20, 30 seconds or something like that. And you look at both of our routes for at that time, they could not be any more different. So it's a really cool thing to be able to experiment. And by no means is this route like the best route possible. This route can always change. And of course, I'm doing a marathon safe route. So like, for example, like Amanda, the one that we have to go add in a Charmander for a water club fight. That's actually the very first fight in the former world record route. And I think also in the current world record route, just because it's so, just want to try to see if we can get that fight on the right frame to get a quick 1 or 2 turn win. But yeah, no, this game, I'm happy that this game has gotten a lot of love as a speed game over the last year or so since this game got ported to the Switch. It's been on here. It's been on GDQ Hotfix a few times. Shout outs to Pinecone606. She ran this game at Frost Vitals earlier this year, and also on Hotfix, I think a month ago, like a month or 6 weeks ago.
With much better Dugtrio luck than we had here.
Oh, yeah.
I think she had 7 of them by the end of it.
I cannot.
7.
Yeah, and it's funny.
Sheesh.
It's funny. We actually had a race. 00AJ, who's number 3 on the leaderboard, Pinecone, and myself. We had a race not too long ago. And Pinecone, I think, got like 6 Duck Trios by like the end of the 5th fight, which is like a level of like incredibly good luck that not even I, who has speedrun this game hundreds and hundreds of times, I have never been able to achieve. Not even once. And I'm so glad that, first of all, thank you for the GGs, everybody. This will not be the last time you will see Pokemon TCG this weekend here on GDQ. I will be running this game for GDQ's Latin American Heritage Month Marathon. I'll be running this game on Sunday. However, this is the fun little twist. It's a bingo run. And Pokemon TCG Bingo, which I can't be given the full credit for making the bingo board, because the idea of Pokemon TCG Bingo has been around like before my time, since I started running this game. But Pokemon TCG Bingo is going to be quite a hoot, as the kids say these days, because it basically forces us to really think outside the box. Not just in terms of speedrunning Pokemon TCG, just playing Pokemon TCG in general. It gives us fun little challenges to try to do throughout the game. Before I guess we kind of sign off from here. Here's the neat little thing after we become the champion. There is a post game. That's right. It's not much. But there is a small bit of post game content. You look at this little machine. This was never here in the main game. Believe it or not, this gets added on after you become the champion. And this is the challenge machine. What it does is it's a gauntlet. Think of this is about maybe the first iteration of like, I guess what we all now know nowadays is like the battle tower type of deal, or like the marathon challenge in the post game, where you go through a gauntlet of trainers one after the other. And the whole point of this is just trying to see how many wins in a row can you get. So if you thought that the Battle Tower, I think that was introduced in Ruby and Sapphire, was the first kind, technically, kind of, but the concept of this was introduced here, where you try to fight 5 opponents, you try to get as many wins as you can after, like, it's basically a series of 5. The way this works is that you get the first 3 fights are against random club trainers from throughout the game. After that, the 4th trainer is a club master, and the 5th match is a grand master. And the other thing is and again, I could be wrong on the whole battle tower concept. I might have been actually a Gen 2 thing. The challenge here is that you are not allowed to edit your deck or change any of your cards at any point throughout the challenge. Whatever deck you start out with, that's what you're going to go through all 5 of those fights. So this is a neat little thing with the post-game content. So yeah, that's kind of one thing I wanted to show, because I was talking to Pinecone, is that funny, and I was a little worried that we were going to go like way underestimate. This is fine. So yeah, not going to try to take away too much of your time, but but if you want to see more of this game, like I said, Pokemon TCG Bingo on Sunday at here on GDQ's Latin American Heritage Month Marathon. And I also speedrun this game quite a bit on my Twitch channel, where I do 80% glitchless and all battles. And if you want some more variety in the games that I speedrun, I also speedrun Spyro 3, both the Reignited and the original. And I'm also currently right now in the learning process of Mario Odyssey. So quite a lot of the different stuff. So anyway, that is me. Autumn, is there any plugs you want to put out?
I don't really have a lot aside from I'm really looking forward to that bingo board. And yeah, just shout out to this community for making me the de facto commentator for all of our events.
Yeah, no.
If you look at my time on the leaderboard, I'm not very fast, but I can say a lot of words.
Yeah, I think this is on the bingo board. I want to say that I think you have been on every single Pokemon TCG hotfix or in general appearance for this game on GDQ, with the exception of last year when I was on hotfix. That was Rog and Treg who was the commentator. But I think aside from that, I think you have been on every single GDQ Pokemon TCG run as the commentator, and we couldn't have asked for anyone better.
Aw, thank you. Also, shout out to my boss for letting me switch my shift after she did the schedule so that I could be home for this.
All right, and that about does it for us. Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you so much, Shasta, for giving me the opportunity to showcase this game. It really is an honor and a privilege to be here on GDQ, and I'm so excited to show more of this game to more people. And like Autumn said, we have a Discord, the Pokemon TCG Discord. If you go to the game's speedrun.com page, there's a link to the Pokemon TCG Discord, and we're more than happy to answer any questions and help out. We actually got a couple of new runners who are just starting to learn the game, and so we're trying our best to help them out, and we're more than happy to help any people who are interested in learning this game. So yeah,
Yeah, and I know every community says that we're super welcoming, really good for new players, really love to see some new faces, but no, this has been one of the most chill speedrunning communities I've been a part of.
Yeah.
In my time in the hobby. And honestly, even if it weren't for some of the streams that I watched, I never would have gotten into speedrunning this game, aside from people breaking it down to a point where I started to be able to understand what I was seeing, and it's like, wait, that actually does look fun.
Yeah, it's been an absolute blast. So anyway, for Autumn, for myself, and for our little buddy Bulbasaur, who did not make an appearance in our deck at any point in the run, despite picking his namesake deck. That's it for us, and we hope you have a great rest of your evening, morning, day, whatever time zone you are in. Hope you are having a wonderful one, and we will see you all in the next one.
Absolutely. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Still a little sick. But yeah, thank you all for watching Do All the Things tonight. After this will be Parallel Universe with Pokemon Emerald Map Randomizer with Shenanigans _. I don't want to say underscore there. Don't worry about it. But
Known Bulbasaur fan.
Another Bulbasaur fan. That's true. Yeah, actually, yeah.
There's Bulbasaur night up in here.
Apparently. Is that your favorite Pokemon, by the way? Just curious.
But funny enough, Bulbasaur's not even my favorite Gen 1 starter. It's actually Squirtle, believe it or not.
Yo, Squirrel Gang.
The thing is...
Or Squirrel Sly, excuse me.
The thing is, the Squirtle deck in Pokemon TCG, it's technically viable, It's the hardest starter to actually get a good time because you get almost no trainers and you don't even start out with Duck Trio. Whereas in Charmander and Bulbasaur starter decks, you get Duck Trio. But Squirtle is an absolute challenge. It's extremely difficult just to beat the game any percent glitchless with the Squirtle deck in under an hour. It's only been done, but I think by like 4 people in history, including myself. Not to pat myself on the back too hard, but it's extremely difficult. It's still possible. Like two of the, I want to say like 2 or 3 of the top 9 or top 11 runners on glitchless were done with Squirtle deck. So it is doable, but Bulbasaur just has so many great things going for it.
It's really like you're just picking like one of the 3 like best starters ever. Really, we pick like one of the 3 Gen 1 stars.
Yeah,
that's how I feel, honestly.
It's like trying to pick which of your children is
like,
your favorite. Like you can't.
Exactly. You can't do that.
No.
It's made of Gen 3 as well too. They're all really dang good too.
They're all so good. All the starters are wonderful.